The sun is yet to rise as Aurizon's 5XM1 intermodal powers south towards Adelaide past Red Hill, about 170 kilometres north of the capital. Across the day, we'll be chasing trains amongst the mid-north region of South Australia, between Nantawarra on the Adelaide to Port Augusta line and Yongala on the Crystal Brook to Broken Hill line. A ballast rake transfer is the next train to be seen after crossing the Aurizon intermodal at Snowtown. The empty train is bound for Broken Hill from Adelaide after working on the Adelaide to Melbourne line in March, with Pacific National in charge of the haulage, with 2 NRs used for today's service, 2M41S. Moving north onto the Broken Hill line, we find ourselves outside of Kowtowie for the next shot of the ballast train, with another just north of Jamestown to come up next. The ballast train is in an interesting configuration, with the ballast ploughs usually positioned at each end of the train, but on this occasion they're mixed amongst the ballast wagons. A final shot sees the ballast train thundering north between Jamestown and Yongala. A few hours later, we catch the AK inspection cars operating from Adelaide to Yunta for the day, seen between Glaston and Kowtowie at the 54km post from Coonamulla. Vintage engines owned by Southern Short Haul Railroad lead the service, with EMD Streamliner GM22 leading Alco Branchliner engine 4829 on its first trip through the state. The AK inspection cars park up at Jamestown, and we move north to just west of Yongala for an ore train. A single NR does the haulage of the short train which works from Broken Hill to Port Pirie. After a double cross with the ore train and the Indian Pacific, the AK inspection cars make another appearance, this time between Jamestown and Yongala at about the 86 kilometre post, with the train's destination for the night at Yunta still about 110 kilometres away. Back on the Adelaide to Port Augusta line, we're situated between Nantawarra and Snowtown next to Lake Bumbunga for two intermodal freight trains of 4MP5 and 1471S. The first service to make an appearance is the Pacific National Melbourne to Perth freight service, with a large load in tow hauled by double NRs. Following behind on line clearance, SCT's 1471S intermodal shuttle to Port Germain approaches from the south at slow speed, awaiting a signal to come into view confirming further clearance to Snowtown. Hauled by a rare 3-locomotive lash-up, the service sees every type of mainline locomotive used by SCT Logistics as of May 2025.